Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Okay, so I have done a ton of overviews on Wigglytuff, so I'm not going to go over its Go Hub analysis that much. Quick overview about Wigglytuff. The reason why it's so good for Go Battle League and Great League. One, it's super thick. As you see here, high stamina, maxed out near 1500. And because of this really balanced stat pool, along with its high stamina, it has a very, very good budget and moveset for the Catch Cup, because it's a Charmer, of course, but like I said, for its moveset, it's very versatile, very, very powerful, especially with shields. Now, it's only weak to a few things, like Poison and Steel. I don't foresee a lot of Steel, since Mythicals are banned for the Catch Cup. I don't see a lot of, like, things that have, like, Flash Cannon, etc., trying to take you out. Now, for Poison, if you have, like, if for, like, really strong picks, Poison isn't common. So, Poison Jabs, or those, like, Poison Stings, you're not going to see a lot of those in the Catch Cup. And it also has few resistances, such as Dragon, Ghost, Bug, and Dark, because of its unique normal and fairy typing. Because of that, Wigglytuff is one of the most strongest picks for the Catch Cup, and has been one of the most useful picks across Go Battle League history. It's also really cheap to power up. This Pokemon recently had a Spotlight Hour for its Stage 1 evolution, which is Jigglypuff. So we had Jigglypuff Spotlight recently, so you likely already have one ready to power up. If you do, I recommend you do, because one, it's really cheap, and two, you'll likely have a good IV one you're ready to power up, and three, there has been a lot of use for Wigglytuff. It was really useful for the Halloween Cup, and it's going to be useful for the Kanto Cup, and it can be useful for the Catch Cup. Very strong Pokemon, very versatile, and it will serve you well in the Catch Cup if you're not looking to spend a lot of dust, especially if you built one for the Kanto Cup. Alright, so here's the custom rankings for the Catch Cup. As you see here, I've inputted my own custom rankings, because when you do take out Mythicals, like I said in my other videos, things change. So I took out the Mythicals here. I didn't take out all the Legendaries because there's no point. If you take out the Mythicals, a lot of things get pushed to the bottom, so I'm just not going to mention them. As you see here, I have the 2 shields. I already pressed the simulator, and as you see in the rankings, in the lead, like, Wigglytuff is one of the strongest mons in this entire meta. You're going to see a very flying and fighting heavy meta, because it's like cheap. However, you can see anything for the Catch Cup. However, Wigglytuff is an amazing budget pit, and as you see here for the overall Catch Cup, it's absolutely really good. Charmers run the top of this meta, because without legendaries, you don't have a lot of safes in this meta. So, and Charmers with 2 shields are very, very strong. So, as you see here, there's a lot of things in a 2 shield that are extremely strong, and Wigglytuff ranks at number 2. So Wigglytuff is an incredibly powerful lead. With shields, Wigglytuff is a monster, being able to take out Scrafty, dragons, and namely fighters as well. Now, of course, there are a few steel types you have to watch out for. I'd say Skarmory is probably going to be your biggest kryptonite in this meta, but as you see with 2 shields, it's still very oppressive. It will deal a lot of damage to a lot of your opponent's lines, especially if you can dodge its weaknesses. Or if you leave Wigglytuff in the back with 2 shields, it's just an absolute monster. Now, that's the 2 shield, so as you see as a lead in the 2 shield, Wigglytuff is a monster in the Catch Cup. It's really, really good. It's really good, it's cheap, and hopefully you have one ready. In the 1 shield, things kind of get a little dicey. As you see, it still ranks very high, ranking at number 13. You do lose to things like Alolan Marowak, Azumarill, Tropius, if your opponent happens to try really hard. Catch a Tropius from the neighboring country, and then use it against you, and Snowy Castform. Like I mentioned though, Wigglytuff very strong against dragons, as you see right here. Alolan Marowak, I wouldn't worry too much about Alolan Marowak or Cresselia. I don't think you'll be able to get an Alolan Marowak for the Catch Cup, and at the same time, Cresselia, unless you saved a Cresselia from your special research a long time ago and it's in your stack, Cresselia will not be allowed for the Catch Cup. or it's not very likely you'll see one anyways. If you did save it and it has grass on future sight, it's a monster in this cup. But you know what? Wigglytuff still chunks it at number 13. Last but not least, we have the no shield scenario. Wigglytuff is incredibly powerful. As you see here, so strong. Super strong. Now we're going to go over the entire... I actually have a matrix set up for it. I have a custom matrix for the Catch Cup with the top picks. Now, as you see here, we're just going to analyze the closer. Wigglytuff is very powerful in the 2 shield. Also does a lot of work in the 1 shield. Still ranking in the top 20. Now, in the closer, things get a little dicey because in order for Wigglytuff to operate very well, it kind of needs shields. Yes, you can kind of put down some 1 HP in a dream scenarios, or you'll be able to charm down something that already has chip damage on it. But the most likely answer you want to hear is that, hey, my Wigglytuff's got 2 shields, and I have a favorable matchup. That's it's probably one of the best things you want to hear. Now we do get this, and as you see here in the closer, Wigglytuff is not very powerful. In fact, it goes down a lot. We search for it. Wigglytuff is number 223 in the closer. As you see, without any shields, it's very weak. So don't put Wigglytuff. Try to not close with Wigglytuff unless you have a really positive matchup, like against Fighters or Altaria. You will get destroyed by a majority of the meta. So be very careful when it comes to the closing scenario. Alright, so here we go. My favorite part of the video is the Matrix, and as you see here, we have Wigglytuff with Ice Beam and Play Rough against the Catch Cup meta. I put it here on the right. As you see, top 40, 39-ish. And then here's the 2 shield. Now I already hit battle, so as you see, we only have Wigglytuff with 1 moveset. Well, that's pretty much the only way to mean. You're going to charm everything to death in the Catch Cup. Well, most of everything to death, other than a few picks as you will see here. Now, as you see here, you're going to charm down a majority of the meta. In the 2 shields, Wigglytuff is incredibly powerful. That's why it's the number 2 ranked lead in the entire Catch Cup meta. Once you put in the custom simulation. Now there's a few issues. One, anything that's grass and anything that basically is poison or resists your charms, it can beat you. As you see here. Ferrothorn, Vileplume, Skarmory, and Shadow Vigor, you lose against these. You lose against those, and you also lose against Skarmory and Bastiodon. So Skarmory is actually like one of the picks you want to look out for. So out of all this list, and Tropius, so Flyers basically, well, that's Razorleaf Tropius, but Flyers are definitely one of Wigglytuff's kryptonites, just because like Steel, Poison, Flying, usually they're accompanied by resistances, or they're able to survive enough, as you see here. If we run Tropius' sim, and then where's Tropius? Where's Tropius? Ah, there's Tropius. If we run Tropius' sim, this is what happens. As you see here, Tropius just gets enough Leaf Blades, but it still only lives with 24 HP left. Now, given it has another Leaf Blade ready, but still, as you see, Wigglytuff doesn't do very well against Tropius just because it's super thick. So anything that has a decent amount of bulk, or it resists Charm, it's going to have a problem. Other than that, everything else in the meta gets destroyed by Wigglytuff. As you see here, things like Scrafty, things like Altaria, a lot of things die to our friend Wigglytuff here in the 2 shield. So it's very dangerous for this meta. In the 1 shield, things get a little dicey. Wigglytuff's still very strong, but as you see here, it's very powerful still. Like I said, you only lose to like Steel's, fellow Wigglytuffs. Swampert also takes you... I wouldn't worry too much about Swampert because you're not going to see a lot of Hydro Cannon users in this meta. But as you see here, you beat a lot of the meta still. Only losing to picks that resist Charm like Fire, Galarian Stunfisk, or something that's semi-thick or outspeed you like Swampert, or Tropius, as usual Tropius. Also Snowy Cast from most of Beachu, which is really ironic, but it's gonna... If you find a Snowy Cast form, it's probably snowing outside. Well, of course, but like, as you see, you do beat Snowy Cast form as long as you have 2 shields or you're in the 2-to-1s. Basically, you have to have 2 shields to beat Snowy Cast form because Ice Weather Ball destroys you, and then Blizzard kills you. Well, I think you can shield, like, if you call the bait, so if you call the bait and you shield the Blizzard, I think you're good. Yeah, if you can call the Blizzard, you can charm down the Snowy Cast form. So just be really careful, because Cast form can be dangerous. Shadow Magnezone beat you. Azumarill is another problem. If they're crazy enough to have an Azu is still very powerful. You win in the 2s, but you lose in the 1s. So you only win in the closer or the 2. So just be really careful about Azumarill. Azumarill is very good for the Catch Cup if they happen to get one and they're crazy enough to power it up to 40. You still lose against Ferrothorn, and like I said, Victory Bell and all the other poison types, just because they resist it. If you're in the zeros, you have a chance. Never mind, you don't have a chance. You just die. Never mind. I lied. There's no, yeah, you don't stand a chance. Just make sure you don't encounter any of the. Just either you avoid it or get rid of them. That's basically what I'm saying. Just get rid of them. Now, in the closer, Wigglytuff is very powerful. As you see here in the closer, well, not really powerful, actually. Wigglytuff does well against a lot of picks in the Catch Cup, but that really depends on what you close against. If it does resist your charms, you will die, as with a lot of it, and without shields, it also loses effectiveness. So, as you see, the closer is Wigglytuff's worst position. You lose against a majority of the meta. You still win against things you obviously beat, such as dragons, fighters, and some other picks like dark types. You even beat Azumarill, so you can beat Azu. This isn't a strong rating, so a good IV Azu might beat you, but if you have a good, but you still, like, are able to beat Azu. I see 13, 13, 12, so you still, that's pretty comfortable. Unless they're holding like 14 or 15, you should be okay. As you see, you still, Daddy Cash also takes your soul, so anything that outspeeds you, or, yeah, anything that basically outspeeds you, you're pretty much done for. But you still beat a lot of picks. Up a Shield, Wigglytuff is a monster in the Catch Cup, because as you see here, up a Shield, you beat everything but Swampert, Skarmory, Bastiodon, Snowy Castform, Magnezone, Gloom, and Ferrothorn, and Vileplume. You actually pick up the Shadow Skarmory matchup, so you can beat Shadow Skarmory, but you lose against pretty much everything else, just because, like I said, against Poison types, you do really bad. Against Steel typings, you don't really have much of a chance. Ferrothorn does resist a ton of your shots, and if you look here, you only beat Ferrothorn in no scenarios. Ferrothorn completely walls you. So, with that being said, I wouldn't worry too much about Shadow Victory Ball. I don't foresee a lot of people using it, or Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn's actually a really interesting pick, unless like I said, you find a Ferrothorn in a while. So, it's still really good in this meta. Now, up 2 shields, Wigglytuff is a destroyer. The only things you really lose against are pretty much, like I mentioned, those poison typings. So you only lose against Gloom Shadow, Vileplume Shadow, or Victory Bell Shadow. So you only lose against poison typings. As you see, otherwise you destroy the entirety of the meta. Well, Bastiodon too. If you have Bastion using this cup, it also powers up near level 40. If you do, you're trying a little too hard. But if you, yeah, you're trying a little too hard if you power up Bastiodon for the Catch Cup. But as you see here, still does still does extremely well. You lose against 4 core picks. Some of them, actually a lot of them, are very unlikely for you to see in the Catch Cup. Up shield advantage, Wigglytuff is still very strong. Yeah, you pick up losses, like against Stunfisk and Alola Marowak, but you're still very, very powerful. As you see here, you still beat a lot of the meta. Namely Azu. Of course, you're still going to lose against, like I said, Ferrothorn, Vileplume, etc. Poison grass types. Anything that chunks you, and Ferrothorn. So just be really careful and mindful that those are, well, they're not likely gonna fly around, but just be aware that they do beat you. Alright, so far as rating goes for the technical summary, I give Wigglytuff an 8 out of 10. So the reason I give Wigglytuff an 8 out of 10, it's cheap. That's one of the things. It's a 10k special move. It's probably the only mon in this meta with a 10k second move, and at the same time has shown it's been useful for other leagues, other than probably Skarmory. However, 10k, like I said, the cheapest, one of the most versatile, easy to use, effective. Easy to use, effective, with shields, and cheap. Those are all the justifications I need to do to give an 8 out of 10. So why not give it a higher rating? Because like what I said, if there's something that walls Wigglytuff or gives you a huge problem, I can't give it a 10. Wigglytuff suffers against things like Ferrothorn, Skarmory, basically anything that resists Charm, it's going to give Wigglytuff a hard time. Also, Tropius. Razor Leaf basically runs through Wigglytuff, and usually it's only because of how thick Tropius is. Tropius is like one of the exceptions. You won't see these mons much. However, I can tell you, a lot of people might key in on using Wigglytuff because, like I said, great spotlight hour, and it's shown a lot of use for future cups. We saw it in the Halloween Cup. Like I said, you also likely to see in the Kanto Cup. That's how good Wigglytuff is, especially with shields. It's not too hard to play either. Literally, have shields, Charm down, that's literally all you needed to do. Because of that, I give it an 8 out of 10. Very good mon, very solid, especially for this Catch Cup meta where you don't have to worry about DD, other like really super powerful legendary Pokemon that can really run like in regular Great League, really make it a wild west. Along with that, Catch Cup is unique because you're not going to see a lot of Pokemon that are like Elite TM, Community Day moves, Umbreon, Frenzy Plant, Meganium, Venusaur, to name a few. You're not going to see a lot of those in this cup. If someone is using one of them, they're trying really hard to win. And if you want to still win, but still use your resources wisely, Wigglytuff is a fantastic choice for this cup. Like I said, cheap, versatile, and if there's another cup like this where fairies are allowed, like the Halloween Cup, if the Halloween Cup comes back, guess what? You can use Wigglytuff. A great pick for the Catch Cup. And hopefully you got a good one during the spotlight hour, or you have one ready to use. I hope you guys like this analysis. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. It really helps grow my channel. And I will see you guys on the next video.